Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2025 Chrysler Pacifica Select. Up front is a 3.6 liter V6 and down below is a 9-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Chrysler Pacifica for two reasons. First of all, it's been a couple of years since I've driven the Chrysler Pacifica. I had one in 2023 as a press loan. That was the limited road tripper, and I took it on a road trip to the Indiana Dunes, and I liked that van, but it was fully loaded. And so if you want to see all the crazy options and features like a vacuum in the trunk, go check out that video. But this is the Select, which is a more affordable option at around $44,000. The second reason is that this now completes the fact that I've driven every 2025 model year minivan available on the market. I've done the Sienna, Odyssey, ID Buzz, Carnival, and now the Pacifica. And so I'm going to be giving you my full thoughts and opinions on if you should trust this vehicle to carry your family around. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. Last but not least, huge thank you to Ray Jeep Dodge Ram Chrysler in Fox Lake, Illinois for letting me borrow their Pacifica for today's video. More on them towards the end, but if you'd like to browse their inventory, you can do so in the description below. But let's get back to that 3.6 liter V6 up at the front. Well, that has been the backbone of Stellantis the last 15 to almost 20 years. Actually, a little bit over 20 years. It's a very plain Jane engine, no real craziness about it. It delivers sufficient horsepower and torque to move the vehicle forward, backward, left, and right. Really nothing special about it. However, that is the only engine available here in the Pacifica. So no matter if you get the top trim or the base model, you're gonna get that 3.6 liter. Now, there is a hybrid version of the Pacifica available. That is a plug-in hybrid if that's something that you'd want, but that is going to run you a little bit more money, so this is the more affordable option. Like I said, paired to it is a 9-speed automatic. I've done many miles with it and never really had an issue. Forum posts online have complained about issues with the 9-speed, so you might want to do your research into that, but my own personal opinion, I haven't had any issues with it yet. I just wouldn't recommend towing with it. Last but not least, the Pacifica is front-wheel drive. However, you can find them in all-wheel drive if that's something that you want. How does it feel to drive the Pacifica? Nice, easy, clean, and simple. No huss, no fuss with the Pacifica, and that's what I like, and that's what all minivans, in my opinion, should be. They have to be driven by lots of different people, and so they have to be accessible and easily driven by lots of different people, and I think that the Pacifica accomplishes that really well. Visibility out the front is pretty good. You do have these little corner windows that help out. Visibility out the back isn't great, but no minivan really is, so I can't knock it too hard. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I do have a mix of physical and digital gauges. These are a holdover from the 2010. I drove a late 2010s Chrysler 200 and it had nearly identical gauges. Here's that Chrysler 200. Off to the left, we do have our tachometer. Off to the right is the speedometer. And in the center, we do get a little screen that we can configure, and it will give us some interesting information, which is really nice. And I like that Chrysler allows for that. On the steering wheel, on the left, we do have our selectors for that gauge cluster screen, as well as our phone options and voice commands. And off to the right, we have our cruise control options, which is adaptive cruise. Very, very nice to see that here in the Chrysler Pacifica. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, headlight switch, and gauge dimmer switch. And moving on to the door, we have 2 levels of memory seats, power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Moving into the center, we do get our infotainment system. This does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is really nice. However, beyond that, not much going on. Here is the backup camera in case you were curious. Down below, we do have our shifter off to the left. This is the rotary dial style shifter. I actually quite like it. I think it works well with our parking brake. And then we have our parking sensors on and off, lane departure, warning, traction control off, mute, hazard switch, and screen off, as well as tune and volume. And down below, we have physical buttons for the climate controls. Absolutely love seeing the physical buttons here. Dual zone climate, fan speed in the center, and that is it. Down below, we do have 2 USB-A's as well as USB-C's, an aux input, and a slide-out tray, things like that. Tons of cubby space. Down below, we have more cubby space with a 12-volt outlet And we get a little Easter egg of the evolution of the Pacifica. Love to see that. Then we do get more cubby space and cup holders, so we'll do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Chrysler Pacifica, and just as I had hoped, and as they've done in the past, it passes the big friggin' bottle test. Then we do have a cubby in the center for more storage, and the seats. The seats are heated, power, and memory. Absolutely love to see that. All the basic necessities that you might need in a minivan for those cold soccer practice mornings or relaxing during dance recitals. However, speaking of seats, the whole point of it being a minivan is that it has 2 more rows of seating. So let's go do some backseat reviews. Power sliding door here for the Pacifica. Really, really love that. And we do get the captain's chairs. Button here on the door to close it once again. Now, these are the captain's chairs, as I just mentioned. However, you can option a Chrysler Pacifica with a bench seat, which will give you 1 more seat to make this an 8-passenger as opposed to a 7-passenger. These seats are really nice. They do have fold-down armrests. I get vents in the ceiling with my own individual light. So I get a light, that passenger gets a light, and that passenger gets to control the climate controls for the rear, fan speed, temperature, and where to send it. All really nice features for the second row. I don't have any console or anything down here in the middle. However, in the floor, we do have the stow and go system, which is a huge benefit and a huge drawing point towards a lot of buyers for the Pacifica. This system is absolutely wonderful and really maximizes the interior space, opposed to a Honda Odyssey or Toyota Sienna. That takes the cake. We do have a 3rd row, so we will hop into the back and see what's up back there. In the 3rd row, lovely. Absolutely lovely. This has plenty of space. I'm 5'11", not a small guy, and I could sit up straight with my knees extended, and I'm not touching anything. I fit as a grown adult man in the back of a minivan. That can't be said about a lot of 3-row SUVs. Even the beloved Dodge Durango, I'm still crammed in the back like this. No, I could spread out. I would enjoy riding in the 3rd row of a Pacifica on a road trip. I would like this. I'd be in my own world. I get my own climate vent. Again, I get my own light. Everyone gets their own light. You get a light. You get a light. You get a light. You get a light. Everybody gets an LED light. I am so hungry. I also do get cup holders. This side only gets 1 while that side gets 2. Kind of interesting. But again, we do have a 3rd seat back here. So this does complete the 7-passenger Pacifica. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. Right around the back of the Chrysler Pacifica, we do have a handle down here that has a button in it, and we get a power-operated tailgate. Once we are around the back here, we do have a 12-volt outlet here in the door, and we have our button for the power tailgate back down. We also can stow these rear seats in this little compartment back here. So I'll take this out briefly here for a second, and apparently we have number 1, number 2, there we go. Okay, pretty easy. So pull number 1, see it says number 1 on it, pull that, and that unlocks it, and then you find number 2, where is it? Gotta get your fingy in there, pull it, there you go, down like that, and now you have a pretty flat loading floor for the back of the Pacifica. Absolutely love that. Super, super easy. It took more time to get my finger in the strap than to actually flip it out. Now, they are a little bit heavy. If you do have back problems or muscular problems, it might not be the easiest. Some minivans do have power rear seats like the Kia Carnival, but not at all trim levels. There we go. Pull this up. There we go. And they are back in space. So a little bit more muscle work than the other power seat options, but not the end of the world. That's what you get in the back of the Pacifica. Now we got to talk about the looks, and I think it's fine. I don't love this color of the Pacifica. I think this color is very late 2010s. The sort of wet cement style is kind of going out of fashion, which I'm excited to see. Overall, it does have the smaller wheels. It's not the best looking minivan I've ever seen, but I think it's presentable. I think it carries itself well. Here is that road tripper from 2023. Again, the blacked out wheels, a little bit different accents, so you can see some of the differentiation. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the Chrysler Pacifica Select here in 2025? Well, I really like this van, and the big reason why I wanted to make this video was purely just to show you what the minivan comes with and what is available. I know that shopping for a new car can be hard and annoying, and so I try to give you as much information as I physically can. So here's everything I can show you about the Pacifica. Now, compared to the rest of the competition, I think the Pacifica rides a little bit nicer, and it does have a lot of storage and nice options above the rest. In that upper trim, I like that it still comes with a vacuum. Honda actually canceled their vacuum during the pandemic because their vacuum distributor actually went out of business, or vacuum supplier, I should say. So the Honda vac is no longer, but the Chrysler still offers it. I like the power from the V6. I like that it still is a V6. Like the Sienna has gone down to a 4-cylinder hybrid, which doesn't offer quite as good of a driving experience as you get here in the Chrysler. So I like it for that respect. Reliability is going to be a toss-up. I would assume that the Honda Odyssey is probably going to be the most reliable out of all the minivans, but it's been on the market the longest. It just has the most mileage under its belt. Volkswagen ID Buzz is grossly overpriced. That's in the 70s. That's 30 grand more than this. I don't think anyone's really comparing it, but it is a minivan technically, so there you go. And then there's the Kia Carnival. It's going to be really a toss-up between this, the Kia Carnival, and the Honda Odyssey. It's going to be, what can you get the best deal on? What is going to be the best looking? What is your brand loyalty? If you've always bought Hondas, you're probably going to buy an Odyssey. If you've always bought Chryslers, you're probably going to buy a Pacifica. And so here it is. A blank piece of paper. This is what you get when you buy a select Chrysler Pacifica. I hope this helped your car buying journey. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're not buying a Pacifica, huge thank you to Ray Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram here in Fox Lake for letting me borrow their Chrysler Pacifica for today's video. They're absolutely wonderful. They have tons and tons of inventory on the lot. Please go check them out with the link found in the description below. I don't think you'll regret it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.